Good Sunday evening. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. And on this episode, I want to welcome all you vinyl community people back to my show. 3 shows this week. That was incredible. The Vertigo show, which was Wednesday. And then we did the Beer and Vinyl show, which was Friday. Now it's time for the Sunday show. So you get 3 episodes of the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show this week. So I went to a few thrift stores. Just a few. I'm going to name them all. There's a bunch of them. We went to Burke United Christian Ministries, Goodwill and Yoke Fellows, Timeless Treasures and Foothills Thrift, Needless Toys and Collectibles, and Habitat for Humanity Restore. And I got a big pile over there. I'm going to save that for last. But in the middle of the show, we're going to go into 1991, the Pickers' top 10 albums of 1991, what I was listening to back in 91. But I want to start off the show by showing you my new finds for the week. And these finds here are from stuff that wasn't from those stores. So, I went up to a thrift store. I guess it was a thrift store, more like an antique store, up in Hudson, North Carolina, Granite Falls area, actually. And they had this one. They had Alice there. Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits with a 45. In the next row over, it was a 45 of Alice. They kind of went together, so I put them together in the to show you kids out there. So there you go. Alice Cooper, Greatest Hits. This concludes all the early Alice. Now, if I start getting into Alice Goes to Hell and all that, which I didn't really get into all that stuff. But if I do, then I'll collect those. But as of right now, I'm done on Alice. I got all the original albums, the Alice Cooper Band. And I thought I was going to get to go see him next month, but it's just too far. It's all the way over in Greenville, or I got to go to Cherokee, and then you're talking, the show's over at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then you got to drive back 2 hours. So I'm not going to do that. I'd like to. It's a bucket list. See Alice. I've never seen him. Vanilla Fudge, Near the Beginning. I found this there too. This is a great album. Like minty, mint fresh, was like $5. I'm all in on Vanilla Fudge. These guys were psychedelic. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just like a garage band. They're pretty good. Pretty good group of men there. I got these 5 records at a pop-up record show yesterday in Lincolnton, North Carolina. I saw it on my phone. I'm like, what's going on with it? I'd never even been to this place where the record place was at. It was a collectible store, what it was. It was a collectible store. They had all kinds of masks in there, and they had like Star Wars stuff, and they had, what else did they have? They had comic books, and they had just about everything you could think of, models. And in the back, he was hosting a record show in the back. And it was the same old people that I see at these big record shows in Charlotte or over in Johnson City or in Clemens. Mike and some of them other people, they were there. I couldn't believe it. But I didn't have any cash with me. So I ended up using my card for one vendor, and I left, and it was a bust. The picker blew it. I didn't bring any cash with me. So, but anyway, I did pick up 5 records while I was there. And I don't have the guy's card, but he's always at these shows, and he always has cheap heat. He always have these great albums for like $5. I spent $11, and I got 5 records. So what does that tell you? City to City, Jerry Rafferty. He had a $5 on this one. I do not have this album. I do have it now. This is a great album. Great album. And then they had this one here. He had $3 on this one. Temptations, Puzzle People. $3 on this. It was minty mint. It was really nice. Stephen Stills Live. He had 50 cents on this one. I couldn't get it back in my arm fast enough. I'm only missing like 2 Stephen Stills albums now. I'm all in on him. I love his voice. Always loved his great guitar playing. And this album here is really good, this live album. 50 cents. How can you go wrong? Rod Stewart, Blondes Have More Fun. This was $2. Yes, I didn't have this one. Some people gave up on Rob during this time. I saw the Hot Legs tour. I remember seeing the big blow-up legs on the stage in D.C., Baltimore somewhere. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Greatest Hits. He had $1.50 on this one. This was a great album. It's got all their hits on here. You Made Me So Happy, Go Down Gambling, Sometimes in Winter, When I Die. It's just on and on and on. And these guys actually had an album for Greatest Hits. They were huge back in the 70s. Late 60s, early 70s. These guys were huge. They were like Three Dog Night. They were huge too. And I got a couple things in the mail. All in on Le Orme. Le Orme is an Italian progressive rock band. These guys are fantastic. Top 3 for me. PFM, Banco, Le Orme. And I got another one of their albums coming in this week, and that might just about do it for me. The 3 albums there. MacArthur, this album here. This album is really good. And this is kind of like, it's rocky, it's a little bit proggy. It's one of those one and done bands from the 70s. And I was glad to find a copy of this on eBay. And this one, of course, this one came all the way from California to one of those big record stores out there. And I had gotten the Question of Balance a couple weeks ago. And he had this one there too. Japanese copy of Our Children's Children. And I think I paid like $10 for it with like $4, $5 shipping or something. Crazy. Yeah, so I'm all in on the Moody Blues. I've seen them so many times. What a great, great band. Now I got one more thing for you to show. And we're going to pull this out. I got this envelope here. It's got some really cool looking stamps on there, if you can see them. And this came from Sweden. Let's see if I can get this out. You ready for this? This came all the way from Sweden. And this was like, I don't know, $5 or something. I think it was like $5 and like $6 for shipping or something. The Kick Inside, Wuthering Heights. It's even got Bjorn's name on the front there, yeah. Isn't that cool? I thought you'd like to see that. So that's it that's the stuff that I got in the mail. I've already burned up 8 minutes talking. Okay, let's go right into this now. We're going to show you my top 10 albums, which they're actually CDs. I have one album and 9 CDs. Because why? Because it was the CD era. And once I get all these CDs together, they said I might just end up keeping all these CDs. Who knows? I don't think so. They're all for sale in my store. All my CDs are for sale in my store. All the ones that I actually have in there. So let's run through these. Coming in at number 10. Well, this album here was a real surprise to me back then, and it's still to this day a surprise to me that these guys, I actually seen these guys live in St. Augustine before Gary Brooker died, and it's The Prodigal Stranger. This coming in at number 10. This was like a comeback album today. I think even Robin Trower came back for this album. This is a fantastic album. I haven't listened to it in probably since 91. So I need to give this a listen. If I had a CD player, which I don't anymore in my truck, my new truck, and I don't really have one set up in here, but I can do that. I can always play it on my 4K Blu-ray player. But here you go. The Prodigal Stranger, Procol Harum, coming in at number 10. Where's my sheet? Coming in at number 9. Well, coming in at number 9, this would have to be a band that I was all into years ago, that I used to listen to them. I buy every record, and that's the Yellow Jackets, and this album is called Politics. And I think we've all had about enough politics lately. So, yeah, but this is a fantastic album. If you like the Yellow Jackets, don't want to miss this one, you can find these in Goodwill for $1, $2. But Yellow Jackets, Politics coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 8, what do we got? Well, we got Pete Bardens. And he had left Camel a few years prior to this. And this was, I think, I don't know, he had lots of solo albums. But this one here was on Miramar. Yeah, Miramar was more like a new age label. And this album is called Watercolors. This album is another album that's fantastic. I used to play it all the time. And so this is what the picker was into in 91. I know a lot of you kids out there were listening to grunge music and all this other stuff, but not the picker. I wasn't listening to all that stuff. That's why it's my list and not your list, I guess. Coming in at number 8. Oh, that was number 8. Coming in at number 7. See, Tony, he always gets messed up too. The Soul Cages, Sting. Is another great Sting album. I was all in on Sting. I liked him from his very first solo album all the way up to this one. And this album is incredible. It's a great album. And he didn't make a bad album. So as far as I'm concerned. Coming in at number 7 is the great Sting. I loved him in Dune. Soul Cages, coming in number 7. Coming in at number 6. Well, this guy here, Chuck Greenberg. Chuck Greenberg from A Blue Planet. Yes, this is a fantastic album. Another one of those bands that I was listening to back then in the 80s and 90s, a band called Shadowfax. And this guy here, Chuck Greenberg, as far as I know, is his only solo album that he did. And he plays the Lyricon, I think that's what it's called. And a lot of andons, not too many, huh? Too many andons. So Chuck Greenberg, this album here, if you can find it. Actually, I had 2 copies of this. I sold one. Somebody bought it on eBay. And you can go down below. You'll see a link down there for my store. And I'm selling all my CDs. I don't know about Chuck, if I want to give up Chuck. I like to find this album on vinyl if I could. But there you go. Oh, actually, I think I did find it on vinyl. It's in the next room over. Chuck Greenberg from A Blue Planet. Coming in at number 5. We're halfway there. Coming in at number 5 is a vinyl. I just picked this one here up not too long ago. I don't have the CD. And the CD's pennies on the dollar. You can pick them up all day long. But the vinyl wasn't released in the U.S. Like the rest of these albums are hard to find on vinyl. But this is Julian Lennon, Help Yourself. And I think this is his 4th, if I'm not mistaken, his 4th solo album. Fantastic. Another fantastic album. If you like Julian Lennon, you need to find this one. And this is his 4th, like I said, his 4th solo album. Coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4. Well, this is one of my favorite prog bands. And this is Melian. This was Holidays in Eden. And that's another fantastic album with Hogarth. Fish had been gone for a while. And then this has Dry Land on it and Cover My Eyes, Splintered Heart, 100 Nights. Excuse me, This Town. Fantastic album. So if you love Melian, don't give up on just because Fish left. Fish left the band because he said why? Because he said he thought the band was getting too big. And then they got even bigger after he left. So apparently he didn't want to get real big. He made some great solo stuff, though, Fish did. Not to be confused with that other Fish band. That's like a Grateful Dead band. I'm talking about The Fish, Derek Dick. That was his actually name. Well, it still is his name. He's not dead or nothing. Melian with Mr. Steve Hogarth. And this is a great album. And it's Holidays in Eden. Okay, where are we at? We're down to number 3. We're getting there. Number 3 is Genesis. And they came out with We Can't Dance. The album's got some great songs on here. Now, there's some clunkers, like We Can't Dance. Has No Son of Mine, starts off with that. Driving the Last Spike. Fading Lights. Hold On My Heart. Got a couple of Phil Collins songs. Dreaming While You Sleep. It's got some really good songs on here. It's just not a whole full album of great songs. It's the follow-up to Invisible Touch. So how are you going to follow up to that? You know, that was a multi-platinum album probably for them. Probably their best-selling album. But this album here is a good album. Not a great album, but it's a good album. And Calling All Stations that came out after this, after Phil's departure, that's not a bad album. It's got some songs on it too. We'll probably see that down the road in the 90s. So 91, Genesis. Coming in at number two. Well, this is a band you're not going to know who these people are. But it's Eggon Heath. And this album's called The Killing Silence. This is a neo-prog band from back in the day. And they had several albums. And my buddy, friend, John up in Jersey, he's going to know who these guys are. It's coming in at number two. I'm not going to talk about it a bunch because hardly anybody out there has ever even heard this album. But if you can get a copy of this, or you can stream it, and if you love prog, this is a deep prog album. Find out, check it out, listen to it, give it a listen. You might like it. Coming in at number one, it can only be number one, and that album I don't even have anymore. I had it on CD. To get it on vinyl is damn near impossible. It's very expensive. I don't have a copy on vinyl. I'd like a copy on vinyl, but I think it only came out like in 2 different countries. Wasn't released in the UK or Canada. I believe it was only released in South Korea and maybe Greece or something. Something crazy like that. I looked it up on Discogs. So, with that said, then I could probably buy another copy of Dust and Dreams on CD for like $5 on eBay, but I don't want to because I don't want to be playing CDs anymore. I want to just play vinyl. So I can just stream it, and streaming and CDs is about the same damn thing. So there you go. And actually, I put it on my phone today, and I was out for my walk today. You'll see some pictures of my walk. I took a little video while I was out there, and I was out there listening to Dust and Dreams while I was doing my walk. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go through all these records. I'm going to try to go through them in 4 minutes. And there's a pile. This is all the stuff that I picked up. And these all came out to about $1 a piece. And we said, where am I going to put them? Yeah, well, that's a little... I moved all my records to another room. And that room's getting full. But I didn't use the bottom shelves. So I got that going for me. I found this for 50 cents, the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Yeah, I know you're going to say it's a CD, but I'm selling it in my store. It's the Lost Trident Sessions, and I already have a copy of this, but I saw it there at Goodwill. What this was doing at Goodwill, I'll never know, but it was there. Genesis, I Can't Dance. Found this there at 45. I'll be keeping that and putting them over here with my Genesis 45s. So that's a keeper for me. That's a keeper. I'll let you know which ones are keepers and which ones are going in the store. How about that? Rod Stewart, Footloose and Fancy Free. These were all, like I said, they all came out to about anywhere between 59 cents and $1.25 a piece. I'll be keeping this one in my Rod Stewart collection. I don't have this one in my Rod Stewart collection, but I do now. Rod Stewart, Footloose and Fancy Free. Hot Legs. This is the tour I saw. Chris Christopherson and Jesus Was a Capricorn. And this is a beautiful copy of this. Like I said, this was 59 cents. This thing looks like it had never been played. And this album is old, and the cover's nice. And, yeah. I don't know. I want to give that a listen. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll pass it on. Leo Kate. I'm not really familiar with his music. I'll give it a listen and see if I like it. I have a couple of his records in my store already. But there you go. This may end up in the store. Mysterious Traveler Weather Report. I already have a copy of this. I'll check it out. Most likely it's going in the store. Gigi. Got that beautiful copy of Gigi. This will be going in my collection. I got about 9 copies of this. Of course, the Gigi, this album was on the cover of Uma Guma on the floor next to David Gilmour. That's why everybody that's a Pink Floyd fan wants this album. This one here, I paid $1 for it. It's in the shrink with the hype sticker. How are you going to beat that? You know, you find another one. Find another GG like I got GG. Rick Wakeman, Journey to the Center of the Earth. This was 50 cents. It's really nice shape. This will be going in the store. George Benson, 2020. Another 50 center. This will be going in the store. Anybody loves George out there? This is one of his 80s releases. Nicolette Larson, Radioland. Nicolette. Going in the store, I believe. Jermaine Jackson. This one here was pretty cool. This was on Motown. Look at Jermaine. He's all chilled out at the beach. This will be going in the store, I'm sure. I don't know what other Jackson members were even on this. They could have been. Could have been. I've never seen that record before. I got a 2 for here from Melanie. They had leftover wine. This one, I'm not really into Melanie. Edwin Hawkins Singers, Try the Real Thing. Melanie. These will be going in the store. Journey to the Center of the Earth. Another copy of that. That'll be going in the store if anybody needs Rick Wakeman. Found this one there. Where Have I Known You Before? Return to Forever, featuring Chick Corea. I already have a nice copy of this. This is with Lenny and Stanley Clark and Al Di Meola. This is a smoker. That's a smoker. Dr. Hook. This in here. Found this one there for 50 cents. I got it home. It's got a warp on it. It's got Sylvia's Mother. That's one of the saddest songs I ever heard in my entire life. Well, this is going to go in the bad bin because it can't be sold, can't be played, and it just goes. It didn't look bad when I looked at it in the store, but when I got it home, I mean, it's really clean, but it's got a bad warp. That's a shame. Treasure Island. Look at this one here. Walt Disney. Gotta love Treasure Island. This will be going in my collection of Walt Disney. America the Beautiful. I just love this one here with the Liberty Bell and the kids. This has got some patriotic songs on it. This will be going in my collection. The Sting featuring Scott Joplin. This one I'll probably pass on with old Marvin Hamlish. This one here I'll probably end up giving it to my my daughter. It's a import copy of West Side Story that's really glossy. I think it's a Spanish copy. Oh, it's from France. That's where it's from. It's a French copy of West Side Story. Beautiful condition. I'll probably give that to my daughter. An Evening with Wyndham Hill Live. This was 50 cents. George Winston's on here. Will Ackerman, Michael Hedges, Alex DeGrassi. This is a fantastic album. I love all them guys. This is probably the creme de la creme here. Michael Hedges, Breakfast in the Field. This is a fantastic record. If you don't know Michael Hedges, you need to find out who Michael Hedges is. He is one of the best guitarists ever lived, and died young. Died in California. Pianoscapes. This one here was 50 cents. Yeah. And it's on Noranda Records by this Gomer here. I don't know who that is. Michael Jones. If anybody knows who Michael Jones is, tell him I got his record. Don't. I got 2 copies of Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Now that makes probably number 30 and 31. I don't know. I got a lot of them. I have 2 more copies there for 50 cents a piece. I wasn't going to leave them. And Paul Moriarty. There's The Girl from the 60s. Now, how many copies of this have I got? Maybe 15 or 16. I don't know. Somewhere around there. That's a lot of records. 24 minutes, 22 seconds. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Thank you for coming and seeing the whole show. If you stayed to the end, then you must love the North Carolina Vinyl Picker. That's all I got to say. This coming Wednesday, my show will feature the record label Brain. It's a German record label. I'm going to show you my records that I have on Brain. And yeah, we'll go from there and we'll see what else we can conjure up on Wednesday. So that's all I got. And North Carolina Vinyl Picker I got to say I'm out of here. Support those troops, and we'll be talking to you soon. I got to go. Bye for now. See you Wednesday.